So this week I have referred 3 people, and I, I think it's the work that you do is so important because it has made a difference in my life. And so I'm a cancer overcomer, and I had breast cancer, and they took out 6 lymph nodes. So I think it's very important that I get the massage, and I like that there are a variety of technicians here. And I say technician as opposed to masseuse, because you are doing something much more than just massaging the muscles, and particularly for older people. I am 76, and I see people my age who their bodies are falling apart, have fallen apart, and particularly you'll notice it around the ankles, that the lymph has gathered around the ankles, and so that's a real problem. And they wobble when they walk. So not having the balance in the body is really, it's important to have that balance. But back to the technicians, what I like is that you have people who have a different kind of touch. And some days I like the lighter touch, and sometimes I like the deeper touch. I'm a survivor of 7, 8 car accidents. We're going to teach people how to drive, and because I've been hit a bunch of times. So while I've never had any broken bones, I have a lot of scar tissue in my muscles. So I think the work that you do has been amazing, and it's helped me a lot. I feel better.
Lovely. So I love what you said about aging and how your body's aging different. For myself at 41, that actually is my bigger focus. Prior to 41, I think it was, how do I look? Now it's like, how do I feel? Can I take care of myself, and aging in place and being able to take care of yourself through that. And quality of life.
Right.
Quality of life, daily activities. What are some daily activities now that you feel like you're able to do that were challenging before, would cause discomfort?
I don't see any difference in what I'm able to do. I was active before. Professionally, I was a teacher. So I got in a lot of steps every day. 10,000 steps was nothing for me when I was teaching. And then I also was doing athletic things, participated in the Portland Coast as part of a member of a walking team. So I could get in 20,000 steps in a day easily. So what I see is not so much what is different, but how I feel doing it.
Okay, I like that. Do you want to embellish on that a little bit? How you feel different doing it?
My body moves better. It doesn't feel, I don't have pain. That's something that I've noticed, is that I don't have pain, and I'm excited about that.
That's exciting. I think that's a really good point that you said. So you could do everything, but there was more pain involved.
Right.
So now you're still doing everything, but the pain is not there.
The pain's not there, and I think also it's giving me a platform to do more. I'm going to start doing chair yoga.
Lovely.
And
yes.
Hot yoga.
Okay.
Bikram yoga.
Okay.
And then.
So at your age, you're actually taking on new adventures instead of taking adventures away, because when you get in your 70s, things get taken away. Your car gets taken away. Your exercise gets taken away. Being able to cook gets taken away. I mean, that's not so exciting, Well, so you're actually getting things added back in.
I have longevity on my side.
Yes.
My mother lived to be 101, and my father lived to be 84. So, and neither of them had great health. I remember telling them they had a lot of nerve getting married, because her family had strokes and heart trouble. His family had heart trouble and diabetes. And so, when you get those two combinations together, that's a lot on the body. So, but they're strong people and had a strong will to live and were always in shape. My father golfed until he died.
Wow.
My mother did exercise, even though she had a stroke and had a left side stroke. She still exercised every day.
Wow.
And made sure that she was able to lift that arm and lift that leg, even though they were paralyzed.
Well, movement is medicine, is what I say. You got to keep moving and moving. Even when you're young, I mean, the youngsters now are not moving the way we were.
Right.
And we're seeing older issues in young people because they're not moving, they're sitting. The lymph system is just sitting, it's not moving the debris. Because lymphatic is passive. It has to have the muscles to move the lymph, which is part of the piece of what we do. Is it's not just drainage, it's the muscles, moving the muscles to get them to move, which ties into the auto accident, because if you get in an auto accident, the muscles aren't responding the way that they would because they're under trauma. And so even if your accident was 5, 6, 7 years ago, suddenly this fluid has built up, and then slowly, I say it's compound interest in either the better way or the worse way. If you don't resolve it, it's not going to get better. That compound, as you get older, the fluid will just get more and more. The adhesions will just get more and more. And even if you're taking medicine, it's not even absorbing through the tissues because you are what you absorb. And so now, I'm just explaining a little bit of why Donna's having less pain is that her tissues, it's kind of like lasagna when it's cold and it's all stuck together, right? This is the theme at our office. It's the lasagna because I'm training our therapists, and I said, you got to throw in the lasagna because it's layers. It's not just water. It's not just deep tissue or trigger point. It's all the systems. We're treating the muscular, the fascial, which is integral, all the things that hold around the lymph, which is passive, that essentially creates that traffic jam. And as we get older, the traffic jams are harder and harder to get rid of. It
is, and it's important I feel confident coming here because I know that you know your business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important to me. There have been times that I've been with therapists and I haven't felt like they really understood.
And we keep studying that. Or like, I know my business for the moment, and then a whole new modality comes up.
Right.
And then, like this year, our goal is to train in CDT, which is complete decongestive therapy, and lymph drainage, which has the compressive wraps and stuff, which usually a physical therapist is performing that. So we're trying to push really open massage therapists to expand outside of themselves. I like what you said, technician, because whenever I explain it, well, it's not really massage, it's like this whole modality.
Oh, it is.
It's a methodology, really. Cohesive therapy is where we started, and now I call it cohesive therapy, which is part of the modality Gepina method lymphatics, which is just a method of lymphatics that I created, which is cohesivity. Some of the modalities here at the center, as we expanded, what are some of the new modalities you've had off of the table that don't require the massage that are helping you?
I find the biocharger interesting, that vibration. I remember when I got it, first time I got it, I was sitting there and I thought that the chair was vibrating. You go, no, this is just a vibration in the air. I'm like, oh, okay, very interesting. But I also have a little vibrator plate at home.
Mm-hmm.
A friend had it, and I was watching her on it, and I'm like, that's interesting. So I tried it, and I liked the way it felt. I had tried one before, and it was like $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's nice, but no, I don't have that.
It has to be sustainable.
Yes.
Sustainable one, affordable.
Right. And so I ended up getting a small one, and I really like it because it has a handle on it. And so it does, it charges me. And I try to walk 5 days a week at least in the morning. And so before I exercise or walk, then I get on that little vibrator for about 3 minutes. And then when I come back from walking, then I get on the vibrator and I have no pain after I've done exercise.
Wonderful.
Using the vibrator. So the biocharger is great. Also, I like I don't know what you call them, the jacket and the pants.
Balancer Pro, the lymphatic suit, which is the air compressor.
Right.
I call it the human coelomel. It's doing compression on everything. So it's pressing everything in, and then it's doing a water system. So it's actually doing wave-like motions like the vessels.
Mm-hmm.
And then it presses, releases completely, and very rhythmic, very systematic. That's the lymph suit.
So I developed high blood pressure, and I got in. As I said, I'm a former teacher, and I developed environmental poisoning in my classroom. And from it, I developed asthma and high blood pressure. I was able to get rid of the asthma until recently. And this happened like almost 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I was never able to get rid of the high blood pressure. And I bring this up because when I got into that suit, my blood pressure went down to 120 and under 80. And I thought, wow, I didn't feel any differently, but I just happened to go to the dentist after I left here, and they took my blood pressure, and I'm like, wait a minute, take it again when I get ready to leave, because I couldn't believe how much it had gone down. Because at home, frequently it's very high. Very high. Even though I'm taking medication for it, it's still very high.
Interesting.
So, and I'm exercising and doing all of these things, and have quit eating salts, and have done a lot of adjustments in my diet and my activity. But this machine, the compression
pneumatic
machine.
Pressure is the key word,
Okay.
they say. The fancy word.
The
technical word is pneumatic
suit,
pressure.
The pneumatic pressure suit is amazing.
Yeah. Well,
it is absolutely fantastic. So it has made me think, maybe I should have one of these at home.
This is a very important conversation because as a massage therapist, I realized, as I studied lymphatic drainage very intensely for the last 3 to 4 years, which was so I created lymphatic drainage in my massage world because there was not a lot available. I started 24 years ago. It was all just Swedish deep tissue. Wonderful. Deep trigger point was great. But then I started I treated my mom with cancer. She passed away, but she said the massage helped her have a comfortable palliative experience with cancer, which I learned the value of palliative care. And then,
what's the definition of palliative care?
Helping someone just feel good, feel them comfortable. That we can't always cure someone. God has His plan for everyone, and what I saw with cancer. I worked at the Gerson Clinic in Hawaii. It was a wonderful benefit with Dr. Maya Balak. That's a whole story. How I ended up on Broadway. It's all connected. I worked with Dr. Cynthia Bai. I had bumped into her when I moved to Vancouver, and I was like, I'm not opening a clinic here. I ended up in her clinic, and she needed an MLD therapist. And I said, well, I can do drainage, and so she sent me clients, and then I was introduced to brachytherapy and cupping, and then that was just the world open for me. So I did wellness drainage, and I was always saying skin brushing, castor oil, broken record over 12, 13 years. Now it's TikTok, Instagram, it's so popular. It's trend. But I have a blog from 2011 talking about castor oil and just broken record. So stick with it because it works. So fast forward, plastic surgery became really famous and popular during COVID because people were getting stimulus checks, and now moms could finally stay home and do the surgeries they needed. And now I had clients with garments, incisions, like nothing I'd ever really worked with full time. And then I thought, I got to go back to the drawing board. So I went back and took VADR and all the other curriculums. I felt like it didn't have enough. And it's kind of that knowledge of, I know enough today, but probably not enough for tomorrow, that you never know enough, and to keep that mind that there's always more to learn. So then that's where I deep dived into lymphedema management and learned about compression, garments, wrapping. And so that's how that came about. And then I started doing it myself because I heard about the suit. I said, I got to try this. I went and did it, and I was just amazed at how much it brought the fluid down without me manually having to squeegee the body, which is what we're doing as drainage therapists.
Yes, you are.
And it's more comfortable for the client. So the balancer suit brings down the volume. So if someone has a lot of fluid volume, it brings down the volume. It's also very off-book, extremely relaxing. So it induces parasympathetic, which is what we want for drainage. You've been a client for a long time prior to us having the balancer. So it's inspiring for me to see that adding in these technologies, which I didn't just throw in, I really deep studied all the different suits, and you can get a $600 suit on, probably on Temu, right? What's the difference between that $600 suit and the Balancer Pro? The scientific work behind Balancer, which is based out of Germany, and Water, all ties into the tradition of Water. So we want to stay in that quality of care. So that's why we added that in. So it's nice to hear that was helpful. And then the biocharger, to kind of tack on the frequency light therapy, is really taking off. A lot of these things, I'm excited, actually have studies behind them now. And a lot of people are doing it, which actually makes me happy. I love to see that people are doing skin brushing videos and castor oil and scrapers. And that, I haven't done a lot of videos over the years, so I feel like I was a little behind. But at the same time, it's good. We need to, I say, congregate as a lymphatic community and encourage these people who are doing castor oil and things like that this is getting exciting. So the biocharger, essentially I say it's frequency therapy. And well, why would I add the biocharger when we can do massage therapy and we can do the balancer? It's a cellular structure.
Because we are
energy, we are light, we are frequency. As this is proven, the universe is frequency. Your frequency. Water is frequency, and we're 90% water, or I like to say fluid, because we're not just water, we're blood. What is that fluid? Blood, debris, protein.
But it's only 5 quarts.
It's only 5 quarts. So frequency, the biocharger, I've seen it actually help couples in their life. I have a client, just yesterday she said, I don't get upset anymore like I did.
Oh, wow.
This is a side effect of the biocharger because we're on a new frequency. The biocharger, honestly, no matter what recipe you do, it's 1,200 recipes, you're going to elevate your frequency and get into a healing state for the cells. So even if you don't really know what you're doing, you can't hurt yourself. There are recipes that are specific for lymphatic drainage, but I do and there's intense protocols you can do with biocharger. But what I found is I try to see if this client's dealing with more stress right now, I actually want them on a setting that's going to help the stress, and then we'll do the lymph drainage, because if you help the stress, you help the drainage, because you help the parasympathetic, you help the vagus, and then things let go, and then things start to move. Going from fight to flight, we're trying to go from fight, flight to rest, digest. That's essentially the key. Also, you don't...
Say that again.
So our whole goal as a lymphatic...
No, you said you're going from fight to
flight to rest, digest with everything, which takes you to homeostasis, which is complete balance, which is where the body gets to work. Essentially, it gets rid of dead cells. It grows new cells. It gives you the chemicals you need. That's why rest is remedy, movement is medicine. Because when you rest, you get rid of the dead skins, all the dead stuff, and the new stuff comes in. But if we cannot get in rest, digest, like go to the bathroom, have things move out of the body, we're not going to do that if we're running from a tiger. The body pulls together. Mm-hmm. And we are in a constant state with news, with cell phones, even with putting ourselves back in fight, flight, unknowingly, So the biocharger, I have found, in 15 minutes, 10 minutes, really quickly, the body just, if there's most people say, I don't feel anything, but the minute they get on that chair and they kick back, I can't even talk with them. They're out. There's an energy that whether they feel it or not, it's doing something. And the next day they'll say, my knee pain's gone, my hip pain's gone, but they didn't feel anything. To the point of in the world now, it's like, if I can't feel it, it's not working. So even in the balance, I say, if you can't feel it, doesn't mean it's not working. It's working that subtle level. So the biocharger is the frequency and light is going through every cellular part of the body. It's reaching through the body.
So that lights up?
It does light up.
Oh, maybe I was gone.
You
didn't notice.
It has gas bulbs on it that are like the ions and all the gases of the periodic table. And it actually emits gas, light, frequency, and sound. I've never found a machine that does all of those.
Wow.
So, and that is what is the voltage is what's able to get through the cellular barrier and break through and help the mitochondria and the ATP do the energy work it needs to create the chemical, so it's stimulating the body to heal itself, to produce the things it needs. It's not healing the body.
That makes sense.
It's having the body heal itself, and the body is the ultimate physician. We've been designed to heal ourselves. Animals, all of our creation is designed to heal itself.
One of the things that I like about coming to your clinic, I don't know what you call it, but one of the things I like...
Biohacking Lymph Center.
Okay.
Like
well, I say clinic because
Yeah.
it does have some
Yeah.
other factors to it. And I like that you're doing the yoga classes.
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
that I, as an educator, it's important to me to always be working with people who are always learning and growing.
Education. Thank you for saying that.
And that's one of the things that I notice about you is that you are always learning new things and bringing in new elements into your work. When my daughter came, she was most enthused and said, "Yeah, I think this might work for you, Mom." And I felt I've been coming almost a year now, so I feel great. I was just telling someone today that I get a twofer when I come here because I get a massage and I get the
the balancer,
lymphatic.
And then top it off on the biocharger. I feel like that's the final portal.
Well, when you got that, I thought, okay, let me put this on, and so I've already got my payments ahead of time.
Yes,
I've gotten the package. That's another thing that I appreciate is that you have a package.
Yeah, so you can save a little bit and then come in, and because if we're doing admin work every time, we're going back to the right brain. We're trying to get out of the right brain, try to get all the scheduling, all the things done in advance, so you really come in and continue that piece as you go. And I don't want to put you back in the office zone. Everyone needs a treatment plan, and it changes as your life changes. Sometimes you're here and in immersion, you're here a lot. Sometimes you're here where you are. I don't know, you come like maybe once a month.
I come once a month.
Yeah, which is great. Once a month, 12 times, that's 12 times a month. That's a lot that you're investing back into your body, right?
It's 12 times a year.
12 times a year, sorry.
Somebody's going to say, wait a minute, she said the wrong thing.
Not educated in that. But coming to the education piece, yes, education is empowerment. I mean, I want you to want us, not need us. Like, our clients often are better. They don't need to come here. But they come, why? Because of the social interaction. I really believe the biofeedback of touch is out of everything we have here. I love what we have. I love the technology. But the biofeedback of touch cannot be replaced by any equipment. And I don't want that to be lost in this movement of med spa. And even as massage therapists get more into what I'm introducing, which I see the industry, the compression suit. This is to help our job so that we're with you, that we maximize touch. In other words, the ability of me to release a muscle in a way that no machine can. My time is spent with that, not trying to get the volume down, because the balancer does a better job in many cases.
What I didn't mention, I really am doing an advertisement for you. What I didn't mention was the cupping.
Vacutherapy
Like,
suction
yeah,
cups.
right. You do the cupping, and
Yes.
I like that. And I think, don't you do acupuncture too?
Well, I don't do acupuncture, but we follow the meridian lines of the
Right.
Eastern modalities in the lymphatic drainage with the vacutherapy, which is why it's very different to Vata or any kind of vacutherapy, because I'm following a lot of Eastern modalities in the vacutherapy. So in a roundabout way, yes, no, it works well with acupuncture, but acupressure points and meridian lines.
I was during the summer when I had come and had the cupping done, and there were several people who stopped and like, where'd you get that done? How was it?
Yeah, it's popular now. Yay!
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are noticing it.
Before it was like, what happened? Now it's like, where'd you get cupping? Yes.
Right. So, people are looking and it's important to feel good and to look good. So
yes.
So I'm always telling people about your business, and I enjoy coming here. And I think, someone said something to me about having longevity, and I said longevity is nice, but what I want is to feel good. It's about feeling good and being healthy, as opposed to, well, you might live longer than your mother. And I'm like, that's great, but she had a stroke.
Yeah.
And the thing that people don't recognize, when you hit 50, you think you're feeling really good. And you think, oh, 50, I could do another 50 years like this. But what we don't realize is that from 0 to 50 is like this. And then at 50, it starts going down, and it goes exponentially faster as you get over 40, and that's the thing that's important. Like I was telling a friend of mine who just turned 94, we went to his birthday party, and he was saying he's 94 and looking for Mo.
I love that.
So we went and celebrated his birthday, and he's on a walker. And he was saying, well, maybe you'll be like your mother and live a long time. And I said, yes, but you're able to take care of yourself, and you're independent. You're able to move. You're able to get out and get around. I mean, he stays out.
So what you're talking about is the quality of your life,
right,
versus the quantity of your life.
Yeah.
In those years is what's most important.
I think quality is always.
If you can get quality and quantity,
that's great.
We're really doing good.
But I think what's most important is is to keep the mental thing going.
The mental health.
The mental health
you said
going.
That's so powerful what you said about mental health. Mental health is so big right now. I mean, on my table, I've been doing it for 24 years. In the last 6 years, since COVID, 2 things I've seen, regardless of opinions on COVID or vaccines, huge increase in autoimmune, more than I've ever seen, which I kind of anticipated. I thought, we're really going to be needed in the next forever when COVID happened, just because of my understanding of the immune system and COVID and the things around it. And then, the mental health behind that from any and all ages, from the isolation, people are still on my table having their kids dealing with mental health stuff. And so I want to help moms. I can help everyone, but if I help the mom, I help the whole world, the family, the community, because when the mom starts to fall apart, things aren't good for anyone. Mom's the nurturer, all the things for all of life, even when their kids are 80, 90, like whatever, the mom is forever. So as a mom, how do you feel like this has helped you being a mom? You're still mom. Even when our kids are grown up, we're still mom.
Well, my daughter will soon be 49. How do I feel as a mom? It's really interesting. I think some of this has to do with aging. That I feel so totally different than I did when I was in my 40s or 50s. God forbid the 30s. It's like everything was a crisis.
Yeah.
And now I'm 76 and I'm very comfortable in my skin. I am much more, what's the word I want to say? I think I'm much more accepting of people and understanding. And I've always had that for children, but I didn't have it for adults. And so,
Aren't you big children?
yes,
Kind of.
it probably helped that I started this program, Race Talks, Uniting to Break the Chains of Racism. And so I was, for the first time, involved primarily with adults as opposed to children. I haven't had my empathy. My empathy bone has not been as good for adults as it has been for children. And so, but I just find that I am able to, and I don't know what this has to do, if I don't know if this is mental. I think it's a combination of mental and physical, is that I am able to step outside of a situation and look at it, and then go back in and deal with it with a lot more compassion and patience than I had in the past. And it probably helps that I'm not working in a work environment,
But
where
that's a big service to be
Yeah.
on the compassion side, because that is your work now, is to be compassionate and loving. That's a big service to the world. One human heals themselves. We heal every person you touch. The person at the shop, the person you pass by, the person you don't get angry at when you go past the car and they run the light. Bless you.
but I think the most important thing for me is that I feel physically
Okay.
well.
Yes.
I'm in my body and I feel comfortable in my body. The car accident started when I was 38.
Oh, interesting. And
Yeah.
that was chaotic time in your life.
So I think it was like 37, 38. I got in my first car accident, and then it happened regularly. And what I didn't realize, from 2017 to 2019, I had a fall and I got 3 concussions, and then I had 2 car accidents and had 2 more concussions, and then had a heart attack and breast cancer from this car accident later. And so what I have noticed, and it wasn't until you just said something that it made me realize, I am feeling more like I did pre-car accidents.
I'm glad you said, okay. And there's a reason for that, actually.
So
the brain, little tick stuff.
And what I didn't say is that with all the car accidents and the falls and different things that I've had 10 concussions.
Yes.
So and I was just speaking with someone the other day, and she said, "Oh, well, at least I haven't had cancer or heart attack." And I said, "I've had both, but
Wow.
you just keep going."
And look, I want everyone to just notice this woman's energy. I mean, you have every reason to be poor me, and you are not. You are victor of, you didn't even go from victim. You're just like victor. Because we can either be a victim or we can be a victor
Right.
of our situation. It's totally true. We all have conditions that happen. I'll kind of explain a little bit of how the drainage helps is, I'll tell you many times when somebody has a drainage issue, like, I don't know why. There's some kind of car accident or concussion, and we know now the lymphatic system, which is the brain, holds one of the biggest nodes in the body. So if your brain is swollen, you're not going to come from a good place. You can be more irritable. We know that concussions cause that, irritable, angry. So is it my personality or is it my brain? Naturally, pre-30, what happened, like you said, organically you are that person. You're a victor, you're a winner, you're the half cup full person, So the lymphatic drainage, when you start doing it, it's not going to happen overnight, but slowly if you've ever had a sponge that sits on a counter, it gets not only smellier, but heavier. Have you ever felt how heavy a debris because there's bacteria in there you can't see? It's the same with any part of the body that gets swollen. It's not just fluid and water, it's literally debris. So as we drain, the Atlas axis is my obsession. You say you got to drain the brain first because it's the computer. And then it start to go down. You start to lift, and then yes, you go back to your organic self because that is your life force. That's your prana, whatever you want to call it, that's running through you. And yes, you start to become more compassionate on all the different things. And you actually start, now that your body's getting the blood flow, the cellular regeneration, you're reversing age. Yes, we're going to get older, but you're reversing age and how you're able to do things. All those reversal things are starting to happen naturally, but it happens over time as you drain, because the body can only drain so much in 24 to 48 hours. So over time, the consistency of you coming once a month. Now with the biocharger, it'll be interesting. There are some really powerful recipes for concussions and all that kind of stuff that I can speak to for myself. It is very powerful. I have found that when I do some of the more specific brain recipes, it has definitely helped with brain fog and things like that. It's still coming back, but I go back on the biocharger. So when I talk about palliative, I don't feel like I've quite cured anything because I'm still doing, but there are doctors that are able to then help cure someone. So leading into a little bit of naturopathic doctors, and we work with a lot of functional medicine doctors, and now we get a lot of referrals. I'm very excited this year. Our top category is wellness. So it went from surgery to wellness. Just because I also think people are choosing to do more wellness. I think the surgery is great and it has its place and is very useful, plastic surgery, which is another conversation. But the wellness piece of lymphatic drainage has brought you here. Those things are, there's actually a scientific reason why you're having the benefits you're having with how you're feeling emotionally and mentally.
Well, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know all the science.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really care.
And are a piece of it.
What I'm about is the what I'm about work. Do I feel good?
Yeah,
is this working?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm
and
ready.
I love what you said because I'm stuck right now. I'm trying to apply for a grant with the federal government. They gave me a template. I have to follow a slide that has all the scientific data, and I'm like, I don't know how to write this. I know it works. I know the volume. I know it goes down. So I just do what I can. I figure, well, I'll just do what I know. I'll write what I know, and I'll see what happens. You know, you just. But do we always need to know the scientific stuff? Well, first we have to be safe, Hippocratic Oath, and then beyond that, we stay in our lane, our modality, which is bodywork massage manual, and then outside of that, know your work before you work. Be your own. I'm my own guinea pig. So once it works for me, and then I've worked with a group of people that I'm very comfortable with, then for me, that's enough to offer it to others if I have enough. Hundreds and thousands of stories, over 130 reviews from every category of autoimmune, surgery, cancer. We actually have a compassion tab, I think, on our Google reviews because enough people have Googled compassion that when they come here, they feel compassion and like that, that it's like an actual tab. So you actually get a review tab if you have enough of the same word.
Oh,
and I thought, well, now that's an interesting review tab is, compassion. It's compassion or something like that that's on our tab. It's an emotion review. Empathy or something that's on the review. Empathy, compassion.
I have no idea. Computers are not my thing.
Yeah.
When I went to the brain doctor, I went to the Amen Brain Clinic, and my doctor said, do you have difficulty with computers? And I said, yes. How'd you know? And he said, because you have damage in that part of your brain. And I thought, I just thought I was dumb.
Very interesting.
So it's very interesting to hear that.
Yes.
The other thing that I am finding is that I found out in my 50s that I was hyperactive. I knew I had a lot of energy, but I didn't know. A friend of mine was a special ed teacher, and she said, "You have ADHD," and I'm like, "What?" So I just thought that was very interesting, but it makes sense. As my parents said when I was younger, I always had a lot of energy.
And there's a gift in that ADHD.
Well, but I had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then when I was a kid, you just learned how to control it.
Oh,
that was the bottom line. There was not all of these fancy things that they have now. You just learned how to control it. But what was also very interesting for me was with all of the concussions and the brain work I've been doing, I've been doing a lot of things in changing diet, and you were mentioning
naturopathic medicine, and you do much more than just massage, so you're doing other
Right.
things, and that is the goal, is to bridge with other doctors and functional
Right.
medicine doctors.
What was the doctor's name that you mentioned?
Dr. Neil.
No, that was on Broadway. You were at her clinic.
Oh, Dr. Cynthia Bai.
Right. I went to see
Yes.
Dr. Bai,
Which
and I went to the Amen Brain Clinic, and that's in Seattle. And you know, I've changed my diet.
yes, you've done your part, so you
Yeah.
have taken full accountability for your health, and that's something I've learned is you can't do everything for your patient. You have to be. My friend told me this: is you need to be part of the rescue on the mission. You have to be part of the rescue on
Right.
your mission and your own rescue. You have to be part of your own rescue, or you won't. You can throw the bow out, but if you don't grab it,
Right.
you won't get rescued. So we have to be a part of that rescue, which is kind of like you mentioned, the fascia yoga, the lymphatic teas and salts. That's how that came about. Was I thought, if I don't give a client a home care packet, I haven't given them anything. Because if they can't take this home, when they're with themselves 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Right.
365 days a year, and they see me 1 hour out of the span, and for me, I feel like I haven't helped them. And that changed everything. Now, I have the tea, it's helped my skin, and it's just a basic tea. But then that inspires you to then make your own bath salts. And it just, I love to see that at home, things are precipitating into a whole new space, and who knows what the future holds.
Well, I
for
think we
you.
have to realize, someone said to me once when I was telling them about race talks, and they go, "You're really important." And I said, "Yes, I am, but mostly just to myself."
Yeah.
And so if we're not willing to take responsibility for our own health, taking pills isn't going to help,
And
going to get a massage
yeah,
once a month is not going to
even
help.
if it's natural,
You
it's
have
still
to
a Band-Aid.
you have to take
Yeah.
charge of your own health.
Yeah.
So I'm 76. I was thinking the other day what my next moves are going to be, and so I started Race Talks in retirement after I left education, and I'm thinking of some other things that I want to do in this next phase of my life.
I love it.
So I don't know that I want to be 101.
Well, if you are, hopefully I'm here. I'll be interviewing you.
I don't know that I want to be 101, but whatever amount of time I have, I want it to be healthy, and I want it to feel good. And I'm realistic, and I realize that death is a natural part of the evolution of the
True.
body.
Yes.
And the spirit might go on, but the physical body goes down. And and with that going down comes pain, comes discomfort. And I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, we'll be here for no matter where you are in your life. I have a patient that got diagnosed with Parkinson's, and we're treating her for that right now. And she's had some things happen, and she came in, and we've modified her entire treatment plan. She's in her 80s, and we're working on a downstairs room. So I said, I'm telling you, I'm going to make sure you can always get to us. We're also working on some alcohol for elder care. We had an elder client come, and she couldn't. It was even to get out of the car, and I thought, we got to start going to older homes. I want to help older people. They get lost and left behind and forgotten.
Right.
You know, I became a certified caregiver because I was taking care of my mother, which was a gift. And I kept that certification because I thought, you never know when this is going to be useful. But I think the more we can really help people in their 70s past that, I think we're doing a real service to honoring the life cycle of our elders, and that you have a different purpose. It's not like, oh, I'm older, I'm done. No, there's a whole, you have the knowledge. I wish that I could have recorded more of my elders' knowledge and had understood that doesn't go in a textbook. It goes passed down through times.
Right.
So thank you for doing the next step. We'll have to check in with you when you have your next step.
We'll see what I do. You know, you were mentioning taking care of your mother. I took care of my mother. and I shouldn't say I have three.
Yes.
I have two sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a couple of brothers. Sisters tend to be more involved in the caregiving
Yeah.
factor, but we took care of my mother for 24 years, the three of us, and she had the stroke at 77 and lived to 101.
Beautiful.
And what was a major part of it is that we kept her going.
Yeah.
We kept her socially active. She was at events. We went to movies. I remember I took her to see Sex and the City when it came out, and the woman she went to a senior citizens center, and the woman who was in charge of the center turned around and saw us standing. She goes, "Mrs. Maxey, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Who do you think was the original sex goddess?" You know, just because people get old doesn't mean that they don't have, didn't have a younger life and don't still have a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
the young spirit needs to be fed.
So I'll find out what else is in the future for me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.